Conflict is a normal part of life, at work, at home, and in our communities. What matters isn't whether conflict happens, but how we choose to handle it. Mediation is one of the most effective tools we have for addressing conflict in a way that is respectful, structured, and focused on resolution rather than blame. Unlike court or formal complaints, mediation gives the people involved a voice and control over the outcome. In this video, we're going to walk through the stages of mediation, from intake and preparation all the way through agreement and closure. Each stage serves a specific purpose, and when used together, they create a process that promotes understanding, accountability, and problem-solving. As we go through these stages, keep in mind that mediation isn't about deciding who is right or wrong. It's about creating a safe space where people can be heard, issues can be clarified, and solutions can be built collaboratively. Whether you're learning about mediation as a student, considering it as a professional skill, or simply trying to better understand how conflict can be managed constructively, this overview will give you a clear framework for how effective mediation works, from start to finish. Here are the general stages of a mediation. Stage 1, intake and preparation, before the mediation session. Purpose, set the foundation for a safe, productive process. What happens? The mediator gathers background information from the parties, separately or jointly. Determines whether mediation is appropriate, voluntary participation, safety, power balance. Clarifies roles, mediator neutrality, confidentiality, and decision-making authority. Establishes logistics, location, virtual versus in-person, who attends. Seasoned insight. Most mediations succeed or fail before the parties ever sit down together. Preparation is where trust quietly begins. Stage 2, opening session and ground rules. Purpose, create psychological safety and structure. What happens? The mediator explains the mediation process. Establishes ground rules, respectful communication, no interruptions, confidentiality. Reaffirms that the mediator is neutral and that the parties control the outcome. Sets expectations about tone and pace. Seasoned insight. The opening is less about rules and more about lowering defenses. Stage 3, parties' opening statements. Storytelling phase. Purpose, let each party feel heard. What happens? Each party explains the situation from their perspective. The mediator listens without judgment and reframes inflammatory language. No interruptions. This is crucial. Seasoned insight. People don't want agreement first, they want acknowledgement first. This phase often releases emotional pressure that blocks resolution. Stage 4, issue identification and agenda setting. Purpose, move from emotion to clarity. What happens? The mediator summarizes what was heard. Issues are listed neutrally, for example, communication breakdown instead of disrespect. Parties agree on the topics to be resolved. Seasoned insight. Conflict feels overwhelming until it is organized. Once issues are named, they become manageable. Stage 5. Exploration of interests, not positions. Purpose. Discover the why behind demands. What happens? The mediator asks open-ended questions. Positions, I want an apology, are separated from interests. I need respect. Emotional, relational, and practical needs are explored. Seasoned insight. Positions divide people. Interests create options. Stage 6. Caucus, private meetings. When needed. Purpose, provide safety, candor, and strategy. What happens? The mediator meets privately with each party. Parties can speak openly without fear of escalation. Reality testing occurs. What happens if this doesn't settle? Options are quietly explored. Seasoned insight. Caucus is where many breakthroughs happen, not because of pressure, but because of honesty. Stage 7. Option generation and negotiation. Purpose. Move from conflict to collaboration. What happens? Parties brainstorm possible solutions. The mediator encourages creativity and flexibility. Options are evaluated against interests, feasibility, and fairness. Seasoned insight. The best agreements are rarely perfect, but they are acceptable and sustainable. Stage 8. Agreement building. Purpose. Turn understanding into action. What happens? Terms are clearly stated. Who, what, when. Language is specific and measurable. The mediator checks for clarity and mutual understanding. Written agreement is drafted, formal or informal depending on context. Seasoned insight. A vague agreement is an invitation to future conflict. Stage 9. Closure and follow-up. Purpose. End with dignity and direction. What happens? Parties reflect briefly on progress. Next steps and follow-up mechanisms are identified. The mediator reinforces the party's ownership of the outcome. Seasoned insight. Even when agreement isn't reached, mediation often reshapes the conflict in healthier ways. Keep in mind, mediation is not about fixing people. It's about creating the conditions where people can fix the problem themselves. Please remember, this material is meant to build skills, not perfection. Take your time, pause the video if needed, and jot down questions or observations as you go. If something doesn't immediately click, that's okay. Learning how to manage conflict is a process, just like mediation itself.